Okay, welcome to the YouTube lesson on the major scale. Let's start off with a little bit of a definition. First, what is a scale? A scale is a collection of notes. Scales are differentiated by the number of notes and the distances or intervals between them. It might be a major scale, it might be a minor scale, it might be a harmonic minor. Let's start with a little bit of a background. If we want to differentiate what a scale is, we have to know what it's made up of. So we've got a semitone, which is the smallest interval in the Western scale, which is from C to C sharp, which might sound something like this. The Jaws theme. And we also have a tone, which is do, re, of course. A tone is also known as a whole tone. It is two semitones, and it's also known as a major second. Alright, I want you to write down the definitions up the top there under scales. And also take down the definition of a semitone and a tone. Okay, so let's start by looking at the intervals between notes. Now what I've got written here is a major scale. And let's give them all some numbers. So we've got starting from C all the way up to C. And we go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Given them all a number. And down here, this is our C. Remember, it's next to the two black notes to the left. I've also got the guitar scale diagram. Okay, and for those tab heads out there, I've got the tablature for the major scale. So we've got our notes, and what we also need to know is the chromatic scale. So here's the chromatic scale from A all the way up to G sharp. So it's every single note we have, all 12 tones. Then you probably notice something here. There's no B sharp and there's no E sharp. Just be cool about that, dude. Just be cool. B and E have no sharps. Be cool about that. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to learn the intervals in between the major scale here so that we can learn the pattern and then apply it to any major scale we like. So for instance, we've got C here to D, and we want to know what the interval is between that. Remember we talked about in the last slide, we talked about a tone and a semitone. We want to identify which one it is here. So between C and D, we want to count the semitones. Here we go, let's start at C. C to C sharp is one semitone, C sharp to D is two semitones, so that equals cha-ching, a tone. That's correct. All right, applause all around. Now, let's continue up the scale. We need to go from D to E. So we find D here, and then we count up the semitones from D to E. So we got D, one semitone to D sharp, another semitone to E. You could also do that this way on the keyboard. If it helps you to draw out the keyboard, you can do it that way. D, D sharp, E. So that's one semitone, two semitones. If you look on your guitar fretboard, D is the open string here. So one semitone is to the first fret, two semitones is to the third fret. Okay, so what we've got all around is another tone. Now let's look at the notes from E to F. So we've got E here to F. So you can see that's just one semitone, and down here from E to F, one semitone, and from these notes here, which is E to F, from E to F on the third fret is also one semitone. So in here we've got a semitone. Now as we continue up along the scale, we go from F to G. So you can see here from F, 1, 2 semitones, which equals a tone. I'm going to continue along just using the chromatic scale, but you can choose whatever method you like. All right, now we've got from G to A. So G, we go 1 semitone, 2 to A. Tone, and okay, now we're going to go from A to B, which is another semitone tone. And then from B to our tonic again, or the upper tonic of C. Excellent. So we've got a semitone. So now you can see this is the pattern that we'll use in method 1 to create every single major scale we ever need in the whole wide world. And this pattern is tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. That's right. Sing it with me now, kids. Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Remember that, and you'll never go wrong.
Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Keep it real.
What is the pattern? The major scale. One more time.
Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone.
Major scale. Okay, now we're going to look at how to complete a major scale using method 1. This is not the only method you can use, but this is just one method which we're going to look at the start of this year. Okay, so the first step is to write out the chromatic scale. Remember, that's all the letters from A all the way through to G sharp. Remember, there's no B and there's no E sharp, so just be cool about that. B, E, be cool, there's no B sharp, there's no E sharp. Alright, pick a root note, any root note, they're all the same. Write out 7 notes until you reach the octave. And use the formula of TTS, TTTS between your notes to ensure that you have the correct accidentals. 5. Make sure that you use any letter only once before the octave. Alright, I want you to write down those 5 points now. So pause the video and write it down. I said pause it. Okay, let's have a look now. Let's do step 1, 2, and 3. Let's do-si-do. Here we go. So the first step, as you remember, was write out the chromatic scale. Ching, 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 ching. A all the way to G sharp. Be cool, be cool. There's no B sharp, there's no E sharp. Just be cool with that. Alright, write your starting note. So what are we going to write on today? Let's write G. G major scale is what we're looking at here. And then step 3 is write out all the notes for 1 octave. So just write them all out. So you go line, next one is in between the lines. Next one's on the line, next one's in between the lines. And do that all for 1 octave. So you'll have 8 notes in entirety. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, this note is just the first note repeated. Alright, here we go. Step 3. What do we need to do? We need to check the intervals against the formula. The old tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone formula. We need our chromatic scale, or you can write out your keyboard if it makes it easier for you. Guitarists sometimes play the scale in their head and picture their fingers on the fretboard. Okay, so we've chosen G here, and we've written out all the notes from G up to G. 1 octave, 8 notes in total. First thing we need to do is we need to check these intervals here to make sure that they are all correct. If they're not correct, we may need to add a sharp or a flat to make them correct. Okay, so from G to A, let's check the semitones. So from G, G sharp, up to A, that is 2 semitones, so it is in fact a tone. So I write that down, helps me make sense of it all. Alright, the next one here, from A to B, let's count those. So 1, 2 semitones, and it is tone. That's what it should be, so we're happy about that. From B to C is a semitone, and that's what we're expecting, a semitone. Next one we're expecting is a tone. So let's have a look. Is it a tone? C to D, C, C sharp, D. Happy days, it's a tone as well. Alright, we're expecting another tone here from D to E. D, D sharp, E. And that is a tone. We're expecting another tone here from E. So let's have a look. We've got E to F. E to F. It's not a tone, is it? It's semitone. Shock horror. So what do we need to do to this note here to make it a tone? Well, we always need to work on the top note, okay? So we need to sharpen that. It's no good flattening this note because it's going to change the interval in between here, okay? So let's sharpen this note here. Let's make it an F sharp. Aha, F sharp. No longer a semitone, E to F, semitone, E to F sharp, tone. Happy days, that's what we want. Alright, now let's check our last interval just to make sure everything's correct. And F sharp to G, it is a semitone. Great, so we've got our tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Alright, an important thing about when you're writing scales is there's something called enharmonic equivalents. So we call them enharmonic because they sound the same. So F sharp or G flat sound exactly the same. But when we're writing them out, they need to be the correct name on the scale, alright? So if you write that in your exam, you're going to get it wrong. If you write a G flat where it should be an F sharp, you will lose your mark. Okay, so this is importante, señor. Only use each letter or note once, just like we did in step 3 when we're going through everything. So here I've written the G major scale, and enharmonically this will sound correct. We've got G flat up here, so we've still got that semitone gap up here, but it is actually incorrect. The flat here makes us have 2 G notes in the scale, which is absolutely incorrect. What we need to have is no notes being represented twice. So we've got an F sharp rather than G flat. Now remember, they sound the same, and if you were to play them, you'd never notice any difference. But when you're writing the scale, it's the rules. I'm telling you, it's just the rules. Just what the big man up in the sky who wrote all the rules about music said. I don't know why, but they're the rules. Alright, there's got to be a reason. Alright, and if you follow step 3, this will never be an issue, right? So if you just write out every note on the line, in between the line, 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 you won't have to worry about this issue. Alright, excellent.